presentation on unpacking the standards, and the big buzzword in education right now is the I.
Read and write numerals and represent a number of objects with a written numeral. So we'd like to ask you, what are some nouns that you see there?
Number.
Okay, numerals, number.
Range.
Okay, so the first one, count to what? So you'd say 120, because that's asking you where to count to. I heard somebody say numerals. And then there's one more towards the end there. Objects. So we found all the nouns about what it's asking us to do.
So the next portion is to circle, and we actually highlighted the cognitive demands or the verbs. So if we go back to our standard for first grade, what are the verbs in our counts to 120?
Read and write. Read and write. Represent. So the next one is to take those, the content demand words and the cognitive demand words, the nouns and the verbs, and take a look and evaluate rigor of those different things. So, okay, so we've got balloons, taxonomy. So knowing what you know, these are the depth of knowledge levels right here. This is 1, recall and reproduction. Level 2, skills and concepts. Level 3, strategic thinking, reasoning. What do you think? Where would it be? If we're going to be basically reading, writing, and representing.
Recall,
Next slide. Okay, there you go. Very good. So it's level 1, recall and reproduction. It's first grade, so you know where they're at that point. Okay.
So we're double taking still. All right, so we, this was the hardest part for our group, for unpacking our standard, was what does conversational, general academic, and disciplinary specific words mean? And, cause that language is different than the Common Core standard, language that you would find at the back of Appendix A. So we talked about conversational words are really those tier 1 words, and then discipline-specific words are tier 2, and then the general academic words are tier 3. So we're gonna go back to our first grade math content standard, and we're gonna try and pick out some of the words in each category. So can we find a conversational, which means words with multiple meanings in that sentence, in that standard?
We went back and forth on that.
Yes.
So
So
you can count on somebody and you can count.
right, so that's multiple meanings. So that's actually, this is kind of a trick question, and we apologize. Because this one, for conversational, there are none in our standard. So that's kind of, sorry.
It's okay.
We had more of a struggle. It was very intro. But, so then we went to general academic tier 3 words. So words that are found often in written text across disciplines. Read and write, that's good.
So we said that count was a multiple discipline, like across disciplines. And count was more across disciplines than it was a conversational. You said you can count on somebody and you can count, but that's more found across disciplines than it is like a conversational word.
And the third one was the discipline-specific words, so these are words found more often in written text. Specific discipline, do you have any that you think would be tier 2 words?
Specific discipline like
Yep.
that.
Yep. What'd you say, sir?
Number one.
Number. Okay, so we said like numeral would be one of these words.
Kelly had a good addition.
Okay, so the next
Next
one
one.
is there's interpersonal competencies and there's interpersonal competencies that you have to that kind of language that you have to look for in the standards. So intrapersonal competencies involve self-management, including the ability to regulate one's behavior and emotions to reach goals. So it's more here, right? I mean, there's no, you don't have to necessarily be dealing with or interacting with someone else. It's more how you actually respond to life. Okay. Any ideas what some terms might be that we might look for?
Throw some adjectives.
So within our standard, this first grade standard, there were no intra or interpersonal competencies.
Oh.
Because it's a first grade standard for counting by tens. So it's just counting, so there weren't any things that make you feel. It's like a pretty concrete logistical standard, but some standards as you get up into middle high school, you're doing an algebraic equation, it might evoke some of these intra or interpersonal competencies that are required in higher levels of thinking, like a level 3 or level 4.
Math practices.
Yeah.
Persist in solving problems.
You could even say like money could, it could involve intra or interpersonal competencies. Counting by tens can, but that's the easiest way in a presentation that's 30 minutes long for us to really understand how we can unpack and repack a standard. It was an easy standard to pick.
Persistence and perseverance, as you said, would be this right, intrapersonal competencies. I think somebody said something about flexibility. I heard somebody said something like that. That's another one. Adaptability, those kind of things. So obviously, in a math, first grade math standard, they don't really include that so much. That's going to be more higher order. So we're there next one.
It's very hard to see with the sun, but we have a huge list of.
Integrity,
You can go-
initiative, flexibility, all those kind of things.
You can go back to Google Plus and review the list there on your Google Plus site.
And then, real quick, interpersonal involves expressing information to others. So, as intrapersonal is kind of here with you, interpersonal is the way that you deal with others. So, interpreting others' messages and responding appropriately. Any ideas? Terms? What? That's more of a.
Share.
Yes. Yes. Cooperate, share, things like that. Go ahead.
Collaborate.
So in your math example specifically, that would be the math talk, when kids talk and explain their reasoning and talk with other students?
Right. Now, as far as the standard, we decided that the standard as it is, count to 120 didn't have any interpersonal or intrapersonal. Of course, it does. If you wanted to add that on, you can always do that, and you can have them explain it to, do some kind of interactive thing with others.
When you talk about math talk though, when in our standard, it did say represent. So if you're to pick the number 54, then they would actually be doing this. If you gave them a pile of 10 sticks in ones units, they could create 5 10 sticks and 4 ones units, and actually, they could do this, can't they?
They actually could. I look at, for mathematics, the interpersonal and the intrapersonal really fall in the place of the mathematical practices and how you use the mathematical practice standards with the standard that you are using. But the standard on its own,
Right.
no.
No.
But it's in the classroom, when you're using the 8 mathematical practice standards, is where you could tap into these.
So that's a quick overview. Now we're wondering if you have any domain-specific questions.
We went through a math example, but I teach PE, and I talked about how we aligned our curriculum. We did unpack the state standards and then put them together in a vertically aligned curriculum, starting with K1, and then that vertically aligns with the 2-3, which vertically aligns with the 4-5, and then you go all the way up through high school. Or PE 9 does sports-specific activities, and so it gives you a general overview. And then after that, you have to take another half credit of PE, which can be done through team sports, individual sports, or lifetime activities. So you're just building upon the knowledge that they already have through their general knowledge PE 9, and just like unpacking the state standards of PE. So that's what I'm an expert in. But we were talking about like the math standard, the ELA standards, and things like that. So if anybody, we went through a math one, if anyone has any other domain-specific questions.
Or any, did somebody have something? Or any just